in the period of time that we were seeking God to what was going to happen with us when we retired. And yet we were still ministers at St. Francis Chapel and Makerere University. And God had spoken to us about leaders, developing leaders. We invited a friend of ours to come and do a workshop with us. Dr. Alison Bufford had come actually earlier to visit our ministry and had come with a team that was helping us develop our worship at St. Francis at Makerere University. But during our interaction, when she first came, she understood that we were passionate about leaders. And then she went back, but she was doing her doctoral degree. She decided to change the topic of her research to developing leaders in Kampala, Uganda. We tried to sell the vision to wider church, but nobody was taking it. So it kept with us, with Joy and I, and when we were then coming to retirement, Joy attended one of the seminars that she was doing, and it was out of that seminar of developing a vision that God spoke to Joy about developing the Leadership Training Center. That in a sense bringing all the ideas together into the Leadership Training Center. Now, the leadership of leadership of Nehemiah, leading a nation that was had been in exile for many years and was returning to Jerusalem, and they were going to build a wall. And the way he accomplished that task in such a time seems to apply to us very well when we were rebuilding Uganda. And that was a fantastic, fantastic input. So the vision then came out of that seminar training. Leadership is a key in any nation, in any business, in anything. Leadership is a key. You have good leaders, you develop. You do not have good leaders, you do not develop. What we came to understand while still working at the university was that many young people were being trained and they would leave the university to go and do all sorts of things. But as I said, because there was so much death of leaders through wars and through HIV, the younger people were being pushed into places of responsibility they had never been prepared for. For instance, a medical doctor who graduates from university as a medical practitioner would then be led to lead a whole hospital or a medical establishment. But that person, just because graduated from university, does not give that person the skills of leadership. And so this person needs skills of leadership to be able to be effective where he is. He has skills of medicine. He could diagnose disease, prescribe, or operate, or whatever it is. But it does not have the skills of managing a board meeting or writing minutes or something like that. So that's the choice. Yeah, or working out a budget and being able to present. So that is where the passion came in. The passion was strengthened by us seeing the examples from the young people that were graduating, especially through our ministry. So it became very important for us that leaders would build or destroy a nation, depending on what type of leaders they are. We moved to the Joy Center in January 2008 to live. When we came, I managed several challenges, but one of them was to go around looking for, now that we're in this place, which church shall we associate, local church shall we associate with? Where shall we be members? And we found there are several churches around, some Anglican, some Pentecostals, and we visited some of them. And very interestingly, wherever we visited, there were young people trying to do something to lead the old people. But they did not know what to do. They had the idea, but they did not know what to do. And then we visited the schools, wanting to know what was happening in the schools. And in our talking with the churches, we realized that the churches are in this particular town of ours are not particularly involved with the secondary schools. We decided then to work with the administration and ask if they would release the whole chapel, the whole congregation of the chapel, to come to the Joy Center once a term, because our academic year at secondary school is divided in terms, 3 terms in a year. Once a term, to come to the Joy Center to meet with other young people from other different schools. And there are 10 secondary schools, 1 kilometer radius from the Joy Center. And that means that there are of almost 10,000 students in those secondary schools, if you take 1,000 for each school. The first service, we had over 300 young people come to the service. And the second time we tried, 250 came. And now it has become tradition that once the schools open, in the first few weeks of the schools, the young people are expecting to come to the Joy Center to have this service. The service at the Joy Center is not, in quotes, like the normal church service. And therefore the young people asked for 3 hours instead of 2. So now we do 3 hours of service. And they are asking now, can we bring our lunch and we stay for the afternoon, rather than having the talks and we go. We have some moment to discuss what has been talked about. And one supporter of the minister said, if it can be worked out with the schools, then he would provide the lunch for the number of students that would come. So that is the schools. But there are other things that we're doing at the Joy Center. And one has to do with the children. Children, we started with the children of the families that we know. And this is 18 to 13 years old. Oh, some of them are teenagers, strong teenagers coming into adulthood. But because we are developing leaders, we needed guinea pigs, so to speak. We needed people who were going to go through the training and we would learn from them as we teach them. Yeah. And these young people come every holiday, on school holiday, and they come together for a whole day of skills development. We talked about decision making, okay? We talked about responsibility, being a responsible person. What does it mean to be a responsible person? We talked about responsibility also with the money, because money becomes a problem as the young people grow up. We don't have so much, but when they have little, they may not be able to. We are giving the skills, the living skills that you could, the daily skills that are life skills that would help the young people become more responsible citizens.